Hello, I want to make a quick demonstration about importing our leaderboard kit to your existing game. It is actually quite simple. Um, you have to go to the folder Ojya Leaderboard, the folder that you downloaded from um, our link, and inside the folder you can see the export version 5 um, folder. You have the actor behaviors, actors, fonts, scenes, behaviors, and sounds. So the first thing that you have to do, as explained also uh, at our site, is to install the extension of Ojya Leaderboard 2. This is the normal procedure when you install an extension in Stencil. Then the other thing you have to do is to copy the extra folders um, inside your extra folder of your game. Means that if you go to our game, Ojya Leaderboard game version 5, you can see the extras folders. Now, all these PNGs, all these items, you have to copy them on your game inside your extras folder. Okay, so our leaderboard can pick up all the items needs for to work. So this is the first thing. Um, then you have then you open your game, and you have to create those 11 game attributes with the exact name. Uh, those are the names here. And of course, pay attention if it is a text, number, or boolean. Then, after this, you have to create an actor group in the settings menu named button anchor. In the settings menu, you go here, stencil settings, and you go to groups, and you create here, you say create new, and you create a group which is named buttons anchor, the exact name. And this is here the exact name, buttons anchor. Once you have created this one, then next step would be to assign it to only 5 actors. I will explain you after. Now, once we've done this thing here, now we have to import our actors and our behaviors. The good thing with Stencil is that if you go to actor types here, this would be your actors of your game without all these actors of Ojya Leaderboard. You have to import Ojya Leaderboard actors in your game. So it is very simple. You only have to open the export version 5 folder, go to actors, and you just drag and drop every single actor here on this page, which is the actor types. Once you import it, Stencil imports also the behavior of the actor. So let's say if I imported back to game, This is back to game. I just drag and drop back to game PNG to this page. The game will import also the behavior. Of course, icons, all these things, but also the behaviors. So back to game has the actor back to game behavior. And with that way, you have to do for all the actors here. Now, if stencil doesn't import the behavior, please check and import manually the behavior. So for back to game PNG, if you go to actor behaviors, you will have actor ACT back to game. The same name of the actor, we just put only at the beginning act for actor. This is the behavior of back to game. Back to game has the act back to game behavior. But anyway, stencil imports automatically also the behaviors. Now, once you've done this, you imported all the actors, you have only to locate 5 actors, which is back to game, button ask requests, button get bonus, button requests, this thing, and back to game. So with you open, for example, let's say back to game, you go to properties and you select here the group of the actor we've created before, which is button anchor. You do like this, buttons anchor, and you close. You do this thing for those 5 actors which are explained here. Back to game, button get bonus, button ask requests, button requests, and level frame. Those 5 actors. Now, after that, you have to import fonts with the same way. Just drag and drop the fonts. You go to export version 5 folder, fonts, and you just drag and drop the PNG. And the same you do with the sounds. Now, we finished, and now we have only to create the 2 scenes. First of all, we have, before creating the scenes, let's go to the same behavior here, and we have to import only the 2 scenes behaviors, FB login start and Ojya Leaderboard. Always just drag and drop one each time on this page here, scene behaviors, and you will have FB login start and Ojya Leaderboard. Now, after that, you need to create those 2 scenes. You create 2 scenes here. One with the game start game, exactly, start game. And important is that you have to go to properties and set the start game with width 1024 and 640. This is not important, but as we using some PNGs for our leaderboard, which is fixed, just try to put these values just for testing. Of course, then you can change your scene, your width, your height, and of course you can change also the graphics of the leaderboard kit. But let's set for start game those values here, and then we close and we create another scene leaderboard, and we go to properties and we create a scene with width 8064 and 1568 height. Now after that we go to behaviors, let's say for the scene leaderboard, and we add behavior the Ojya leaderboard for the scene leaderboard. We close, then we go to start game, we go to behaviors, and we add phase FB login start on our scene start game. Of course, as you can see, I'm not doing okay because the scene has already the behavior. So I just created two scenes with its behavior, and as you can see, it's all you have to do for importing the whole kit leaderboard to your game. Now, before starting testing the game, you only have to, as explained in our site, you have to go to start game, open behavior, FB login start, and you go to define attributes, and you just assign the font to this font attribute. You just you will see that every font attribute has the same name with the font to choose. So login user font, choose font, you will see login user, this font here, and you say OK. The same goes for font score. And then after you have created those game attributes, you will have, for leaderboard name game attribute, you will have to write the leaderboard. It is the name of the scene we created, and for scene game name you have to write the name of the scene of the starting scene you created before, which is the start game. Our leaderboard needs two scenes. One is the leaderboard scene, which is all where happens, and the first scene is the start game. Actually, the start game, it's your game. So it will be the scene of your game when you play. And after that game, you ask to go to the leaderboard scene so you can see the maps and all the and do all the leaderboard actions. So after you have defined the fonts here, remember you have always to define the fonts on all the scenes here where is written define attributes. Then you go to define Facebook. You click define Facebook and you write the code and the Facebook app ID. And this is for the start game scene. Now we close and we open the leaderboard scene and we go to behaviors, edit, and we go to define Facebook. And this is for the start game scene. Now we close and we open the leaderboard scene and we go to behaviors, edit, and we go to define Facebook. And this is for the start game scene. and we go again to define attributes here. Now you have to um, uh, check that all these things that you have created the game attributes, as we said before. The only thing you will have to fill is this section here with the fonts. So you have to choose the font you imported before and connect it with this attribute here. As you can see, it has the same name of the font. So it goes for anti-font, challenge score, dialogue challenge, all this thing, as you can see, has the same name. So it is really simple. And of course, if you remember, the set, you have to define this thing here, the set a button anchor. This is the attribute of a group, and you have to, as you can see, choose group. You have to select buttons anchor here, and uh, it is done. You don't have any other thing to like attributes to define. You can leave all the attributes here as it is. You don't need to bother. Of course, on the site we explained what is done with all these attributes here, and I can say it just quickly. This is the number of the users, the image of the users, which is 1 here. This is the default. When you design the leaderboard map of all the levels, together with the actor level, the number of the level, you can see only one Facebook user. I've made it like this, and you can add also 2 and 3 users. But as it is getting confusing, having a lot of users on the same app, it is better to set 1. So now this is the leaderboard levels. Those are all the levels of the game. I have 61. And of course you can change the actor of the level, of each level, the X and Y position, if you go here on the attributes and you select X path leaderboard list 8. This is the Y coordinates. This is the, as you can see, begins from 0 and ends to 60. So it is 61 levels. This is the X coordinate of the 61 level. It starts from 0. 0 means 61. So 1 is 60, 59, 58, 57, and goes on. So if you want just to change the X coordinate, let's say of the 60 level, you go to 1 and you just change here. And if you want to change also of the 60 level the Y position, Y position, you just go here, Y path LB list 8, and you go here on the 1, which is the 16 level. So you have, as you can see, also the coordinates of all the 60 levels here, 61 levels of the game, and you can choose and change. Of course, instead of designing your own path, or maybe changing the levels, if you want less level, you can just write 50 here and just delete the coordinates, let's say, of some levels here, if you don't want to use 61. Now, this attribute, the next attribute here, action post score, is if you want to, when publishing scores to Facebook, if you want to keep the highest score done of one level, you have to put here 1 instead of 0. If you put 0, every time you play, you will replace the current score with the score you've done, the actual score you've done. So every time you change the score. Again, I repeat, if you put 1 here, it will keep only the highest level done of that level. Now, the publish time, you have to set it to true. This attribute actually, if the action post score is 1, which keeps the highest score, the publish time doesn't have validity, because the leaderboard always keeps the highest score. But if the action post score is 0 and you put the publish time to true, it will keep only the latest score done for a specific level. So let's say if you have played offline with 2 different mobile devices the same level, and you publish the scores, let's say after 1 day, the machine will keep only that level which is the most recent. So it is better to set publish time to true. Now the other, and let's go now to the other attribute. This is the load image images at start. This attribute, I put it false, because when you begin the game, it loads each time the images of the Facebook profile, user's profile. So you have always updated the images of your friends. If you put it true, once you start the game, it will load the saved images of in your mobile. It's up to you if you want to have the images always updated, or update the images, let's say, in some period that you can define. Now, the next attribute is offline with pop-up. It is better to put it this to false. Of course, our leaderboard, in some particular moments, very critical, will always display a pop-up dialog that explains you what you have to do. But if you even if you put it to false, false is just for offline gaming, so you don't have to, if you go offline, always show a pop-up. There is a sign of the offline gaming which will appear on the back to game button. So leave it here to false. And now we only have the score and the bonus of that level. The score is the score, of course, you don't have to do nothing. It is the G Xbox Global. This is the score of a level. This is the G bonus level. This is the bonus of that level. and it's up to you how you can define the bonus. As you can see here, I defined my bonus in respect of the score, but you are free to do whatever you want. Of course, pay attention that our leaderboard, if you put bonus at -1, the game will keep the bonus made before and not change the bonus. So if bonus level is -1, we'll keep the Facebook server bonus that you've done before. Um, so this is the other attribute. You just leave it to true. And as you can see, those are the attributes of the whole leaderboard kit. You don't have to do anything else. So it's quite simple. And then, of course, the most important thing, but of course describe it other times in our site, is to define the Facebook. This is those are the codes of your Facebook app application ID. If you go to our site and if you watch the other video, you can see how you can simply fill with the correct information those attributes which are straight connected to your Facebook application. So the next and last step is only for designing the leaderboard. Just pay attention on this trigger, draw background. If you playing the game and you playing our leaderboard, you will see that we have actually 3 actions, which is the post action, the level action, and the leader B action here. G leaderboard action, leader B, and post or level. If the G leaderboard action is leader B, the leaderboard designs the map of all the levels. If the action is post, it posts the score and visits that level the Facebook user played. And if the action is level, the leaderboard will design only that level the user asked and will not post scores. The only thing here is that the leader B, the action leader B, uses 2 PNGs, which the maximum is 8000 pixels by 1500 pixels. And the other 2 actions, post and level, uses only 1 PNG, like map, which is width 4064 and height 762. Now, you only have just to check, it is not important, but just to check if the map on your game is well centered, the PNG. So if you see that the map is not really centered on your screen, you just only need to change these attributes here. Xstart back image 3, which is 0. You can put 10 or 20. And the same goes for the actions post and level. Here, and the X-max panning is the limit of the H coordinate for the camera panning. So when you panning with your finger on our leaderboard and your travel all over the leaderboard, this is the maximum coordinate of the X spanning, which is actually the width of the leaderboard, the PNG. And here on the leaderboard with all the levels, here we have the X max spanning 8,000, as you can see, which is also the width of the leaderboard of the leaderboard map, which is of course combined by two PNGs, this PNG and this one. Each of this one is 4,000 pixels, and that makes 8,000 pixels. So it is only just to keep an eye on how the PNGs on the leaderboard map are centered on your screen. So just make some modifications on those variables here. So this is the import instructions of the leaderboard game. You just go only here, define attributes, define Facebook, and just check the leaderboard number here, and it's all done. I think you don't have to do nothing else and just only test your game. Thank you, and just follow the instructions of in our site for importing the leaderboard game.